Hey everyone, today we are here to talk to you about how to eat healthy on a budget. So, how to save money while eating healthy. Let's face it, eating healthy is just too expensive, right? It doesn't really make sense financially, so why even try to be healthy in the first place? Especially if it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. There's really no easy way to eat healthy and save money. Do you know what all of those are? All of those statements or questions that I just said are absolute lies. Lies. So today we are going to demolish one of the biggest lies and misconceptions when it comes to eating healthy that holds a lot of people back, which is being able to eat healthy on a budget.
Which is awesome. I'm really excited for this one because who doesn't like to talk about ways to save money?
Right.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to share 5 really simple ways that you can eat healthy while you're on a budget. And then we'll share a couple of our favorite recipes that we use over and over and over again that are super flexible and they're super budget friendly too. So you want to just jump right into it and share way number 1?
Yeah, so the first way how to save money while eating healthy is emphasize your nutrients. So obviously we need calories to meet our body's energy needs, right? Actually in any other country on their nutrition label, calories are labeled as energy. So any food that you eat is going to meet your energy requirements, if you want to say that. But nutrients are really what are going to be keeping us healthy. So some women choose really poor foods like fast food burgers, hot dogs, pizza, and popcorn because they're cheesy and easy.
And cheesy, some of them. Cheese dogs, cheesy burgers.
They're cheap and easy.
We know what's on Devan's
is
mind.
what I was going for there. So they're cheap and they're easy, or they're cheesy and they're also not very good for you. But on the back end, like I was getting to, they can have a little bit more expensive trade-off in terms of health problems and nutrient deficiencies. So one other thing about these foods is that they don't keep you full long term, which actually leads to you eating more over time until these things are gone or going to get more. And they're not going to last you as long. So it's going to lead you to purchasing more in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So seemingly cheap on the front end, but maybe more expensive on the back end from both a health standpoint and a budget standpoint. So what to focus on instead is nutrient-rich foods that cost slightly more but keep us full and satisfied and actually add to our health. So although they're going to seem like there's more cost per item, they're actually going to cost you less in the long run. So how do we emphasize nutrients for meals? We like to aim for a balance of them, having 1 to 2 palm size of lean proteins like fish, eggs, tofu, etc. Then we have 1 to 2 fist sizes of veggies like broccoli, asparagus, carrots, or whatever you like. 1 to 2 cupped hands of carbs like rice or quinoa, and then 1 to 2 thumbs of fat like olive oil, avocado, or nuts. Anything that I just mentioned there are all nutrient-dense foods. They're all whole foods too,
Yeah.
if you notice. They're not processed like pizza or hot dogs or cheesy. So you'll have to adjust these hand portions, obviously, based on your individual needs in regards to your activity levels and your personal goals. But we went in depth on how to figure this out for yourself in a different video. So be sure to watch that if you haven't.
Yeah. Okay, so on to way number 2, now that we know to focus on nutrients. So way number 2 to eat healthy while you're on a budget is simply to make the majority of your meals rather than buy them. Like, it is almost always more expensive to purchase like ready to eat meals rather than making them at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like Devan said, using whole foods or whole ingredients. That's almost always going to be less expensive than buying something ready to eat. So I want to give you a couple examples to hopefully illustrate that. So the first one like healthy type of food that people will often go to is they'll go to like a shake of some sort. I want to make a healthy shake. And some people will go to a specialty shake shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of them out there, whatever
Mm-hmm.
one comes to mind for you. If you go there and you get like a 16-ounce super smoothie, like greens, protein, all that good stuff in it, it's probably going to cost you like $8.99, $9 or so. So that's pretty expensive.
Maybe up to like $12 or $15, depending on where you live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So that's one option, right? You can spend a bunch of money and go get something that's ready to eat. Kind of like one step in the maybe better direction would be if you buy like a bottle, like a super shake bottle at the grocery store. Like one that we've got where we live is Bolt House Farms. They're pretty healthy, made from whole foods, and those cost like $2.49 or so a bottle. So that's way less expensive, and you're still getting great ingredients and nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you were to make that exact same type of shake at home? It's probably only going to cost you like $2, right? So if I get something ready to eat, it's going to cost me 9. If I make it myself, it's going to cost me 2.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to have stuff left over if you make it for yourself at home versus getting it out, spending $9 to $15 and having nothing left to show for it except for hopefully a full stomach.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so that's one example. Let's talk about another one. One other like healthy meal that people will typically go towards is a salad of some sort. So let's say you're going out for lunch, and you want to get a salad with grilled chicken on it. You're probably going to pay like $16, $17, depending on where you go, maybe even $20 for a grilled chicken salad.
I was just someplace where somebody paid $35 for a simple chicken salad. It was a massive salad, but she was able to eat it all and spent $35. Like, that could buy a lot of salad groceries.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that.
Oof.
So you could go out to a restaurant and pay $35, 17 to like $35 for a grilled chicken salad. But if you were to go to a grocery store, like one that has those buffets where you can make your own salad and take it home, you're probably going to pay like $7 or something to, you know, put whatever ingredients you want into your salad. They basically just got it laid out for you. So that's better, right?
Better.
Moving in the right direction.
For sure, better.
But here's the kicker. If you were to go and buy whole food ingredients, like let's say you wanted to just make yourself a spinach salad and you used leftover roasted chicken from your dinner before, it's probably going to cost you like $2 to $3 for that meal. Like way less expensive, still just as healthy, and you know where the ingredients came from that went into it.
Yeah.
You've got more control over what you're actually eating. So those are just a couple examples of how much less money you can spend just by making your meals from scratch at home. And if you've watched any of our previous videos, we talk about meal prepping, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of time to do that either.
No. And that's tip number 3. To save money while eating healthy is pre-prepping your meals. So your time, I think we can all agree, is valuable, right? Most women who work a job trade time for money. So yes, your time is valuable. And any time spent away from home, in my opinion, is like double valuable. I don't know, at least double valuable. They should pay me extra for that. So spending a little bit of time in the kitchen can really save you lots of money, and keeping your takeout app or your drive-through lane time to a minimum.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
One of my friends shared with me recently, like we're going through quarantine right now, and the people in line waiting for Starbucks, this is just about the time thing. It takes you like 20 to 30 minutes to go through the line at Starbucks because it's so long sometimes, versus if you just went in and got it.
Yep.
Like, you think about the value of your time.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's so true, because so many things right now are, drive-through only, or delivery only, or you can call ahead and pick up your order and actually go inside. But a lot of people are choosing not to do that. And I actually did that on a trip to Chicago just a few weeks ago. I stopped by a Starbucks to get a coffee on my way home, and there was a drive-through, and I was like, there is no way I'm sitting in that drive-through for probably an hour is how long it's going to take me to get through that line. And so I just ordered ahead on their app, and I walked in. There was nobody in the store.
Mm.
So just kind of crazy. Like, you could walk in and pick it up. Although what we're advocating for here is you prepping these things ahead of time so that you don't have to, or making your pot of coffee at home, so that you don't have to go to someplace, driving time and ordering time and waiting for it time. It all adds up.
It does.
So here's a simple example of how you can make this work. First, ask your roommate, your spouse, or maybe your older kids to help with this. This might even get some buy-in for them on your pre-prepped meals and enjoying things more as a household. Then for most meals, cook more food than you think you need so that you have leftovers for eating and repurposing. Like we talked about, chicken to the salad rather than just the chicken meal that you had the night before. And cooking extra, honestly, probably only takes an extra 5 minutes, if that, because you're already making the meal. So you just make a little bit more. Then you can add extra food prep with other tasks that you do throughout the day. Like if you're listening to the news or having your morning coffee, tuning into a podcast, or whatever it is that you like to do while you're sitting around the house or doing other things. One of my favorite things is, well, this is actually the next tip too, is quick prep batches. So some of my favorite things are hard boiling eggs. And one thing that I do around the house is laundry. Lots of laundry all the time, because we've got cloth diapers and our own laundry and our workout laundry and like just so much laundry. And we only have one child right now. But I will put on some hard boiled eggs after I've put in a load of laundry, and then I might chop up some veggies or start to bake up a batch of muffins, because I know from start to finish that is only going to take me as long as the load of laundry does. And then I'm really doing like 3 things at the same time while not having to divide my attention, if that makes sense. So quick prep batches are great. Chopping veggies was another example. Freezing herbs, things that are going to take like 15 minutes or less. Just put them on, be done. And then cooking big batches of food with a crock pot or something that more time-intensive foods would be efficiently cooked in, like stews or casserole, cooking big batches of granola or meat. And normally it might take like 1 to 2 hours to actually cook these things, but once you have them cooked in bulk and you've made a lot at once, you're going to be off to the races for your week of meal prep.
Yeah, one of the things that we do, and not everybody has the ability to do this depending on what you've got access to at home, but when we're doing a big meal prep session, sometimes we'll have 2 crock pots and a pressure cooker going, making like some of those time-intensive foods all at once, and it saves us so much time. And we don't have to be there watching it, so we can be off doing other stuff.
Yeah, we love that, because it's not like you may or may not be comfortable like pre-timing your oven and having it go off for a meal in advance. Like we don't do that very often. So I love being able to just turn on the crock pot, leave the house, go for a walk, or go get some groceries, or go get some work done, and then be able to come back and have my food be ready to go. Like my meal prep was done while I was gone. So another thing you can do too is when you do those large batch prep sessions, if you're not going to eat it all, like we only have 2 people eating actual food right now. Sometimes if we make 2 crock pots full of chili, or even 1, like we're not going to eat that unless we eat it for lunch and dinner all week long, which we might get sick of. So we might freeze half of it and have it ready for meals in the future, which is really nice in busy weeks when you feel like, I don't have time to meal prep this week. What do I have in the freezer? And you can just pull it out and reheat it.
Boom.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about like prepping food and things like that, but let's rewind in the food I guess, process and talk a little bit about shopping in general. So that's tip number 4. Way that you can save money while eating healthy is to just be a savvy, smart shopper. So listen closely to this because I'm going to drop some value bombs for you. Some of the best places that you can shop for food that's cost effective would be at like a farmer's market or a discount food or bulk food grocery store, or best case scenario, if you've got one of these, your own garden.
Oh, for sure.
It's basically free aside from the work that you've put in to plant it.
Right.
So start with one of those places. Now, once you're in the store, if you're going to a store and you're shopping, think about some of the most cost effective foods. So, like produce that's in season is always going to be less expensive than produce that's out of season. One example we see time and time again is blueberries.
Mm-hmm.
Blueberries, when they're in season, really inexpensive. But
Yeah.
if you try and get them in the middle of the winter, they're going to be one of the most expensive pieces of produce that you can even
for
get.
not very much.
Yeah. So you can also, though, look at frozen fruits and vegetables. Usually those are pretty inexpensive, or things like dried beans or grains, or different, like less popular cuts of meat are great
Mm-hmm.
as well. Usually those are less expensive, or plant-based proteins like tofu or tempeh. So some other things, though, you might see as you're shopping, they look like at first have a really high price tag. But when you actually look at how many servings am I going to get out of this, it's way less expensive. So here's a quick example. So you might be going to the grocery store and you want to buy some lean chicken breasts, and you look at this big giant package, and it's like $20 for that package. But you pause, you look at how many servings are in there, and there's like 12 to 16 servings of chicken. Well, now the cost per serving is like $1 something, right? It's not expensive because you're getting it in bulk, which is awesome. Okay, now hope you have your pen ready because I'm going to list off a bunch of foods that are nutrient dense, kind of like Devan talked about, focusing on nutrients first, that are also inexpensive. So have your pen handy. Okay, eggs. Eggs are about 35 cents a portion. Brown rice, it's about 90 cents a portion. Bananas, you probably find pretty much anywhere. They're like 15 cents a portion. Onions are really inexpensive. They're like 10 cents a portion. Carrots are about 15 cents, same as bananas or so. Melon right now, summertime melon is like 50 cents per portion, which I love because I'm a melon
We spend
fanatic.
way more per portion because we don't just have one portion.
Yes. I love melon. But like whole chicken, like we just talked about, like $1.90 a portion if you get one of those big bulk things. Oranges, 65 cents. You could even get things like flank steak for like $2 a portion, right? That's awesome. And different herbs. We use a lot of different herbs. They're like 15 cents a portion. So I could keep going on and on with nutrient dense foods that are inexpensive, like potatoes or garlic or other spices, like all those different things. Just know that they're out there. Healthy, whole foods that are inexpensive, they're in abundance. You just got to know what you're looking for.
For sure. Okay, so tip number 5 is avoiding waste. This is huge.
This is a
guys.
big one.
This is huge. We can speak from personal experience on this one. Before you buy all the food, make sure you have a plan for the food that you're going to buy and how much time you have to prep the meals that you want to make so that you don't overbuy or make impulse purchases because you've run out of food. Hopefully that makes sense.
Do you want to share just like a super quick story about initially when we got married?
Yeah, I would go to the grocery store and kind of have an idea of about how much I was planning on spending, but we had a pretty flexible budget, and so I would see something that looked good and I'd take some of that, and then I'd be like, well, I thought we needed one of those, but I think I'm just going to take 2 just in case. And then like I'd get to another aisle and be like, oh, these are on sale and they weren't on the list, but grab a few of those. And then we'd stock our fridge and like organize all of our fruits and veggies.
It looked beautiful.
It looked wonderful. We should share a picture sometime, but yeah, it was great. Like our fridge was full and stocked and it looked glorious with all of these nutrient dense foods. And then like a week in, I'd go to make something because we didn't make time for food prep when we first grocery shopped. And I'd pull out some veggies and fruit that are like wilting and molding, and we would throw out like tens of dollars of, just wasted food. And
Really
it
sad.
like made me sick inside because it's such a waste. So then after several times of that happening and us being really like convicted about how much food we were wasting, we which then by the way led to impulse decisions the following week, because we would grocery shop like every week and a half to 2 weeks, and then we'd end up eating out for a half a week because we didn't have any groceries because they all wilted or got moldy. And so anyways, that's just our personal experience with
Yeah.
it. But you can also learn to preserve food to last longer. So whole fruits and veggies um, over like on the counters can get ripe really quickly, but in the refrigerator they last longer. So just note that if you didn't already know that. When food in the fridge won't be eaten in a couple days, put it in an airtight container or resealable bag, and it can last 3 to 6 months in the freezer, which is
That's awesome.
awesome. So that works for most things. Make sure you lightly steam or boil veggies though before you freeze them. And then if you're really adventurous and you want to plan for the future, making jams, pickles, dehydrated or fermented foods, smoked and cured meats can actually last for years. So, fun fact.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's do a quick recap because we covered a lot. There are 5 ways. Well, these are just five of the ways that you can save money and eat healthy while you're on a budget. And it involves focusing on nutrients, getting nutrient dense foods, making like prepping, cooking most of your own food rather than getting ready to made foods or ready to eat foods
Or cheesy ones.
or cheesy ones. Pre-prepping your meals save you money, save you time. Being a savvy shopper while you're out and about, and making the most of your food, not wasting it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we're going to share 2 of our very favorite types of meals. They're not necessarily recipes because we vary them so much, but they're ways that we get a lot of nutrients in, saves us time, and also saves us money. And one of them is just making different types of chili. So basically, we just have a crock pot and we throw different types of like beans, like black beans, chili beans, tomatoes, onions, turkey. You could use lean ground beef. You could use like white chicken chili, spices, all that stuff. Throw it into a crock pot, mix it up, and then let it simmer for like 6 hours or so, depending on what you're making.
Yeah.
Saves a ton of time, delicious, nutrient dense. You can freeze it, like Devin said earlier. Save it for later when you need a quick meal. All you got to do is reheat it then after it's cooked. Just one of our favorite go-tos.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one of our favorite go-tos, you've maybe heard this before if you've listened to other videos of ours, but taco bowls are like a staple. It's like a whole food group in our house. But adding tomatoes, onions, spices, romaine lettuce, or other kinds of greens. Sometimes we like to saute spinach and put it in, avocado, homemade salsa, garlic, cheese, whatever. And you can switch it up and make it taste different based on what meats you put in or what meat you don't put in, or if you add sweet potato or tortilla chips or whatever. So hopefully now, with all of that being shared, you can see that eating healthy doesn't have to be ghastly expensive, and it can actually help you save money if you use these strategies. So get out there and put these things to use, and remember, as always, you're just one step away.